My boss fired 3 people for answering emergency calls, so when his wife was in a car accident, I made sure he followed his own rule. My manager, Derek, had one rule he cared about more than anything. Absolutely no personal phone calls during work hours. Not on break, not during lunch, not even if you stepped outside. The second you clock in, your life belongs to this company, he'd say. Family emergencies can wait 8 hours. The first person I saw him fire was a woman named Beth. Her daughter's school called because the kid had fallen off the monkey bars and split her head open. Beth answered in the break room, and Derek marched over and snatched the phone from her hand. "You're done. Pack your desk. My daughter's in an ambulance. Should have thought of that before you violated policy." She left crying, and Derek sent an email to the entire staff titled "Beth's Termination, a Lesson for All." 3 paragraphs about how her lack of commitment had forced his hand. The second firing was Paul, whose father had a heart attack. Derek followed him to the stairwell and listened to the whole conversation. The second Paul hung up, Derek said, "Clean out your locker." Paul's face went white. "My dad might be dying. Then you should get to the hospital quickly, but not as an employee here." Derek added a new policy after that. Phones in lockers during shifts, cameras pointed at the lockers. During the meeting, someone asked, "What if there's a genuine emergency?" Derek smiled. "Your family can call the front desk. We'll pass it along during your break." What if there's no break for 3 more hours? Then it wasn't that urgent. My stomach dropped every time I walked past those lockers. My wife, Danielle, was 8 months pregnant. I'd asked Derek what would happen if she went into labor during my shift. "You'll find out when your break comes," he said. 3 weeks later, Derek marched toward me with his phone out. "Your wife called the front desk. Apparently she's in labor. I need to go. Your shift ends in 4 hours. My wife is having our baby, and you're having a job, at least until your shift ends." My hands were shaking. I started walking toward the exit. Derek's voice boomed across the store. "If you leave, you're fired." I stopped. We needed the health insurance. Danielle's parents would be with her. 4 hours later, I drove 90 miles per hour to the hospital. My daughter had been born 2 hours earlier. Danielle wouldn't look at me. I didn't quit because I couldn't afford to, but I waited. For 3 months, I watched Derek enforce his rules. He fired a woman whose house was flooding. He fired a man whose brother died. Each time, he'd smile. Then one Tuesday afternoon, Derek's phone rang. He answered it right there on the sales floor. "What? When? Is she okay?" His face went gray. "I'm leaving right now." He started walking toward the exit. I stepped in front of him. "Going somewhere?" "My wife was in a car accident. I need to get to the hospital." My throat was tight. "Personal emergency?" "Yes, obviously." "During work hours?" His eyes went hard. "Get out of my way. Company policy says all personal emergencies can wait until end of shift. Your shift ends in 6 hours. This is different." "How?" "My wife could be dying." I pulled out my phone and opened his email from 9 months ago. Quote, "There are no exceptions. Family emergencies can wait." Your words. People were gathering. Employees stopping to watch. Derek's face turned red. "I'm the manager. I can leave when I want." "Not according to the handbook you made us sign." He tried to push past me. I didn't move. "If you leave, you're fired." "Those are your words, Derek." His hands were shaking. "Please. My wife was hit by a semi-truck." "Then you should get to the hospital quickly. But not as an employee of this company." He stood there for 30 seconds. Phone pressed to his ear, body trembling. Then he shoved past me and ran. I walked to the office and called corporate HR. I had 11 documented wrongful terminations, 3 dozen witness statements, and footage of Derek answering his phone on the sales floor before abandoning his shift. He was fired the next morning. His wife survived with a broken leg. I kept his nameplate. It sits on my desk at home right next to a photo of my daughter's first birthday.